Welcome back to Learn SKN, and today we're going to be doing a POB Principles of Business video. We're going to continue where we left off. We did establishing a business and we covered the first seven objectives. Now today we're going to continue from objective 8, where we're looking at the business plan. So identify the reasons for preparing a business plan, and we are going to move forward and see how far we get with this one. All right, so without further ado, let's jump right into this one. So the business plan, reasons for preparing a business plan. So today I'm taking the information from the textbook, the Principles of Business CSEC Examinations textbook, second edition. That's the one with the new syllabus addition, logistics. All right, so reasons for preparing a business plan. Now, what is a business plan? First and foremost, what is a business plan? A business plan is a document that will guide you from your business idea to reality. So a business is a document, first and foremost, that guides you from your business idea to reality. We have this long-winded definition right here where we say a business plan, a detailed plan setting out the objectives of a business over a stated period, often 3, 5, or 10 years. For new businesses, it is an essential document for raising capital or loans. The plan should quantify, give numbers for, as many of the objectives as possible, providing monthly cash flows and production figures for at least the first 2 years. Anticipated profits and loss accounts should also form part of the business plan. So as you can see, the business plan is a document that entrepreneurs need in order to get an idea as to where they are and where they want to be and how they're going to get there. So let's see reasons for preparing a business plan. The first reason we have here is to research and assess the feasibility of the business. So what this means is that based on what your plan has, can go out and that would guide your research, whether it is primary research, secondary research, whatever markets you might want to go into, the size of the market, those things. So after you would, because you need all of this in the business plan, you need to know your target market, the size of your target market, the location that your market would be in. You need to know, if there's a demand for your product or not. So you have to do your research. And the business plan is essential because what you find in your research will go into your plan. So you have to do your research first, and based on your research, it will let you know if your idea is feasible, meaning if it's practical, if it can actually work in your area. 2, to attract potential investors. So 2 and 3 we're gonna marry together because they are essentially 2 of the most important reasons why you want a business plan. Because to raise finance, to attract potential investors, you cannot go to a bank or a lending institution as a small business person or an entrepreneur wanting to start a new business. You cannot go to a bank or any lending institution, whether it is a venture capitalist, angel investor, whatever. You cannot go to anybody unless you have a plan in your hand. It can't just be in your head. You need a plan. They need to see something written out so that they can actually follow and see if it is worth investing in your idea. So a business plan is essential to attract potential investors and to raise capital. You can't just go to your family and friends and say, I have a business idea and that's it, done. No, they might want to see something written down and to see that you actually took your time to show that you're actually serious about this business idea because you went through all the rigors and you went and did the research, you put everything together, your marketing plan, your operational plan, everything, your financial plan. And so they would know that you are serious. So don't even try to go to a bank to try to get a loan or financing from anybody without a business plan in hand. Then to guide the operations of the business when making decisions. Of course, this is considering that you would have gotten financing and everything and the business has started. That doesn't mean you throw away your plan. Not because you started the business mean the plan goes through the window. No, you need your plan still as a guideline. You can use it to guide you to where you want to go and also to measure against time and where you should be, if you are there, if you are not, what you did wrong, what you need to do based on the plan. Just like a contractor building a house. You can't just go and freelance and just do it at the top of your head. You need a plan to show where you are, where you're going, how you're going to get there, etc. So even if your business have started, you still need the plan. A contractor don't just throw away the plan after the foundation is done. You still need to put up the walls, the roof, everything. So it's a guide to the operation of the business when making decisions. The last one here in the book is to ensure the business complies with all necessary laws and regulations. So you have to make sure everything that you have in your plan would be up to scratch, up to code, up to standard with what the law and regulations stipulate. Or else again, you might not get any investment, you might not get any financing. So these are all reasons why you want to prepare a business plan. And of paramount would be to raise capital and to attract investors. You cannot get anybody investing in a business without a solid plan on paper for them. So that's objective 8 in section 3. Now let's move on to objective 9. Describe the elements of a business plan. So describe the elements of a business plan. Let's look at it here from the syllabus before we go back to the textbook. A description of the basic elements of a business plan, the executive summary, an overview of the business, operational plan, the business and its objectives, name, address, legal structure, aims and objectives, personnel, suppliers, equipment necessary. Then you have the business opportunity or description of the product or service that you are willing to offer the market. Then you have the marketing plan, a description of the potential customers and nature of the competition. Then you have the financial forecast, sources of finance, sales, cash flow, profit, and loss forecast. So all those are elements of the business plan. So all you need to do is know the elements and give a brief description of each. Nothing too in-depth. I mean, you're only in high school, so they're not going to ask you to make a business plan from scratch. So let's look at it from the textbook. Elements of the business plan, and we're going to give a brief overview of each. So here we go. Introduction, executive summary, the business opportunity, operational plan, marketing plan, financial forecast. The introduction. This section introduces the financier to the proposed business and gives brief information on the name or names of the owners, proposed business location, name of the business, and the amount of financing that will be needed for the startup. This can be considered an introduction or preface of the business plan. Now, again, it's just an overview of what the business is all about, the introduction. So it's just a quick glance at as to, you know, the name, the owner, that kind of stuff, the straight up amount of finance you might need. You get to the point. So it's similar to an elevator pitch. All right, the introduction. Then you move on to the executive summary. Now this is normally the last thing that the person writing the plan would write, because that encompasses everything else in a nice synopsis. So this is the summary of all the other sections of the business plan. It is the last section to be written, but you should present it first, as it provides the lender or investor with a quick synopsis of the business and its layout. This is the most important section of the plan, and it's often the first to be read. It should cover the business idea and proposition in the short and succinct manner, written in a straightforward English. Now what they're saying is that the business plan is crucial because financial institutions, they see a whole number of business plans every day. So they're not going to have time to delve deep into 100 thick, 50-page thick business plans. No. They will just browse the top, the executive summary, and the ones that hit them, you know, they put them on a short list to be read later on. So the ones that are most impactful, they put them on a short list and then they read them later. So you have to make sure that your executive summary is straight to the point and it attracts the attention of the possible investor one time. So you can't have no long, drawn up, boring executive summary. You have to be short and sweet. Then you have the business opportunity. Now, what is the business opportunity? Now, this section gives a brief overview of how the business opportunity came about. Your idea. Remember, conceptualizing your idea. What you saw that had gaps in the market that you can fill. The business opportunity. You saw an opportunity and you want to take advantage of it. So this is what this is about. Your whole business idea. So this section gives a brief overview of how the business opportunity came about. This should give insight into the potential size of the market, the characteristics of the target customer base, the degree of the market competition, security issues, and access to transportation, among other factors. So this again gives the overview of what your business idea is and how you plan to execute that business idea. Is it feasible or not? You hear this, they mention here, you have to give the potential size of the market, characteristics of a target market. So you have to go and you might say my product is would be attractive to young males 18 to 25 who are working in a mid-income job level, something like that. So you have to give them ideas, specifics. You can't just have a broad generalization, or else that would be everybody else's business plan. You have to be succinct, you have to be to the point, you have to be specific for the investors to have a good idea as to what your business opportunity that you saw and you're going to capitalize on. Then you have your operational plan. What is that? As it says, that's the plan for when your business is up and running and how you intend to operate that business on a day-to-day basis. So an operational plan is a detailed plan that sets out how each team, section, or department will contribute to the achievement of the organization's goal. The operational plan maps out the day-to-day tasks and resources required to run the business and make it successful. You should include details of the business objectives and targets, business activities and processes, staffing and resource requirements, quality standards, implementation of timetables, and how the progress will be monitored. So again, this is just how the business is going to be run on a day-to-day basis. So you have to give an idea who is the boss, who is in charge of who, the chain of command, the chain of command, the span of control, the different departments, who's in charge of what, where resources are going, that kind of stuff. So the operational plan just tells you how you're going to operate the business on a day-to-day basis. Nobody wants to see a business that might be run down the hill early. So you don't really want to have a confusing operational plan. You want to have it laid out nicely, sequential, whatever, clear, concise, so that people can have an idea in their head. Okay, I could picture this. This business is going to run in this way. So I can foresee that if there are problems, it can be controlled by doing this, that, the other. You don't want them to read the operational plan and see total confusion and chaos. You don't want them to wonder, how is this supposed to run? How is this going to operate? How is this supposed to work? No, you want them to understand, okay, based on this plan, this is how I lay out my day-to-day run of the business, and this is how it should run. And if it's attractive enough, that would enhance your ability to maybe obtain financing. So all these sections are vital, they are important. I would not say any is more important than any, because except for the executive summary, which includes everything else, a piece of everything else. Then you have your marketing plan. What is a marketing plan? Now, as the name suggests, this section will outline the various ways in which your marketing will be organized. It provides information on the marketing strategies, your 4 P's, promotion, price, distribution, product, all those things. So along with the 4 P's, it also shows your supply chain, your value chain, all those things. So your marketing plan will show how you are going to get your product from the producer to the final consumer. What you're going to do, advertising, sponsorship, whatever you're going to do, whatever promotional tactics you're going to use, whatever pricing strategies you're going to use. So that we looked at pricing in another video, So pricing includes things like, psychological pricing. You have skim pricing. So you have different ways of pricing your product to enter the market. You have some market penetrating pricing strategies, and you have some that would maintain your place in the market if you are in the market already. So you can look at that video about pricing. But yeah, so the marketing plan you will use, as well as some ideas for marketing budget. So you have to give an idea of how much you intend to spend on marketing. Where are you going to market? Are you going to be social media? Are you going to do, print ads? Are you going to do over the air, radio, TV, whatever? How much all that might cost? So your marketing plan lays out basically your marketing strategy. What you're going to do to get the information from you to your final consumer. So it is important that this includes the demographic information about the target customer, age, income, lifestyle, etc. Because this is crucial. Because I can't just marketing. Today in modern times, marketing is more specific. That is why Facebook and Google and all those, Amazon and them, that's why they are so successful at marketing, because they have targeted ads. I'm pretty sure when you're watching a video on YouTube or on Facebook, they're gonna target you specifically because they would have seen your browser history, they would have seen stuff you would have liked on different sites when you click that like button from Facebook. So they capture all the information and they can use that to sell to big brands, and they can specifically target your age, your income, your lifestyle based on your surfing patterns, if you go on Amazon based on what you purchase, your purchasing patterns, those kind of things. You go on YouTube based on what videos you watch, they would know. You sign up for Gmail and those things, you put in your age, your date, everything. They capture that information, package it up nicely and sell it to big brands. You should also highlight the unique selling points which distinguish your product or service from the competition. Of course, you have to do that. That's what marketing helps you to do. Differentiate your product from the competitors. So you have to make sure you have an idea as to what makes a product special and include that in your marketing plan. Then, of course, you have your financial forecast. And as the name suggests, this is you looking outwards to see how much money you intend to make within maybe the first year or two of operation, when you're going to break even, when you're going to make a profit, how much years of losses you intend to sustain, that kind of stuff. So the main aim of any business is to create wealth, of course. There is no limit to the amount of profit made by a business when positioned well in the industry. In most cases, the funding to start your business will be obtained through loans. This means that your financial resources have to be carefully managed and spent to earn a good return on investment. In other words, finances should be used in a way that can earn you profits to repay the loan and also take care of the daily expenses of your business. Alright, so this is crucial. So you have to mock up some kind of income and expenditure and revenue forecast. You have to show the bank or whoever you're going to where you expect to be in 5, 10, 1, 2 years, that kind of thing, when you're going to break even, how much money you might need to actually start up and get it through the first, couple months, couple of years, that kind of stuff. You have to include all of those things in your financial forecast. So those are all the elements of your business plan. And if you look here, you can pause it and just look at all of these. These are the key sections of a business plan: marketing plan, operational plan, financial plan. And we looked at all of these before. So marketing plan, let's run through them one by one. Description of the product or the service. Clearly, you have to describe it good. That's part of the 4 P's. Product, price, placement, promotion. 4 P's. You have to compare you have to show how your product or service is better, or how it compares to the competitors, the competition. Your location of the business should be noted. Your market area, your main customers, your total demand. So you have to go and estimate how much people might want your product, a broad idea of what your demand might be. Your market share, how much you intend to take from the incumbent, or if you are going into a fresh blue ocean, then your market share, you have to estimate your market share. You have to be realistic. You can't say, I'm going to capture 100% of the market. No, you have to be realistic and your realistic outlook as to how much market share you hope to gain. Of course, the selling price, sales forecast, how much you're going to make in the first month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever, the first year, first 2 years. Your promotional activities, marketing strategy, and marketing budget. All those would be in your marketing plan. Then you have the operational plan, production process, fixed assets, life of fixed assets. So you have to outline your equipment, your capital, your machinery, your equipment, your vehicles, whatever, your buildings. Outline all those things. Your production process, so you're going about to make your product or service. Your source of equipment, where you're going to get the equipment from. Maintenance and repair schedule or plan. Capacity planning. Terms and conditions of purchase, lease or rental of equipment. So you have to make sure, outline how your equipment are going to be paid for. Layout of production area, raw materials needed, cost and availability of raw materials. So you have to make sure mention where you're going to get basically your supply chain for your raw materials, your whole supply chain. Your labor requirements, availability of labor, overhead expenses or costs, and cost of production. You have to outline all of those in your operational plan. So it's so in depth and detailed these things can be. So of course you're in high school, so you're not going to be required to make anything this detailed. But when you finish with high school and you're ready to start your own business, you have to sit down and really put the pen to paper and make a nice business plan for the banks to take you on. Then you have the financial plan. Projected startup costs, loan requirements, collateral and loan security. Of course, you need to know what you're going to use to secure your loan. projected profit and loss statement, cash flow projection, balance sheet projection, loan repayment schedule, break-even analysis. You have to do that because the bank needs to know when you're going to break even and when you're going to start making profit, because you can't be breaking even way down the line. It might not be worth the investment. You know, some companies can get away with this thing, like Tesla don't make profit really. Those are big companies that they have the potential. Uber don't really make profits, but you know, they have the potential. Return on investment. So those who lend you the money want to know what the return on investment can be, and so you have to work that out. And of course, financial analysis. Alright, so those are just basically the elements of the business plan that you need to know and have a working knowledge of these areas. So that's basically it for the elements of the business plan. So that's section 9. Alright, section 10 identifies sources of information for conducting research into the establishment of businesses. So that's primary and secondary sources of information for conducting research. And we're going to do 10 and 11 together. So discuss the significance of conducting a feasibility study into establishing a business. Alright, so we're going to look at those two together. You know, to ascertain viability, to put the possible cost attached to the project, possible sources of finance. Okay, good. So we're going to look at both together. All right, cool. So what is a feasibility study? A feasibility study is basically carrying out research to find out whether or not your idea can actually work, if it's viable, if it can actually work in the market that you want it to work in. You know? So you have to carry out research, and to carry out research, there are different ways to carry out research. You have your primary research and you have your secondary research. Now there are different variations of both. All right, so let's read what they have here first, and then we get more into primary and secondary sources. Okay, so before you start a business, you need to carry out market research to identify the level of demand for the product or service you plan to offer. This feasibility study is important in determining viability, possible costs attached to the project, and possible sources of finance. The process of gathering data should be planned. A properly structured feasibility study will provide information you can feed into the business planning process. So let's break down some of these here. So they say that you have to carry out market research to identify the level of demand for a product or service you plan to offer. So it doesn't make sense to bring a product to the market when there are a million other substitutes out there. That's not going to work. All right. So, and most banks also would not really want to invest in that. Like, for example, when I was in university in Jamaica, we had to do a business plan in one of our business courses, and the facilitator was like, if I see one more business plan for jerk sauce, I'll report on me here, because apparently jerk sauce in Jamaica is one of the easiest business plans to make. But the thing is, the market is so saturated with jerk sauce in Jamaica. There's so many different jerk sauces out there, but everybody wanted to say there's this special one, new jerk sauce. So they were like, no more business plan with jerk sauce. You had enough with jerk sauce. Alright, so you have to make sure that there's a high enough demand for your product, and that nobody else out there is really providing that good or service. So you have to look for gaps in the market that you yourself can fill. You might want to, for example, you want to open a restaurant in a certain area. It has to be that area has a high population and the restaurants there just can't cut it. So you opening a similar restaurant would not be a problem because there is an unmet demand. But if you have a KFC right there in your neighborhood, doesn't make sense to go and open a chicken joint right next to KFC because, that's, dead on arrival. So that's what they're talking about here. You have to make sure you have a good enough level of demand for your good or service. Like, for example, I was saying, in some small Caribbean countries, it doesn't make sense to open a luxury car dealership because the population is such that who's going to buy luxury car dealers? Who's going to buy a Lamborghini? Who's going to buy a Porsche in some of the smaller Caribbean islands? There's not enough market for that. So that would not be viable. And the cost attached to that would be great, astronomical. And who would want to finance that? I don't know who would want to finance something like that. So feasibility study helps you to understand all of these aspects: the viability, the possible costs, and the possible sources of finance. All right, so let's look at the sources of information for carrying out market research. There are various ways in which information can be collected in a feasibility study. These can be from primary or secondary sources, or from qualitative or quantitative research. Alright, primary sources are where the data is captured from original sources for the first time. That's primary. When you go out, that's what we call first-hand information. You go out and you yourself collect that data, that information. You yourself go out and collect that. Whereas secondary is where information is gathered from a source that's already out there, so it's already been collected. So it's second-hand information, second-hand research. Examples of primary research, primary sources, we have a few here. So you have a questionnaire. That's you making your questions, going out, asking people, and you compile that. You have production data on work rates and production methods, so you would map all that for yourself. Then you have suppliers information on the cost of material and equipment. Those are primary data. Also, you have interviews, you have observations, you have surveys, those kind of things. Alright, so you have observations, interviews with focus groups, questionnaires. All these three are examples of primary sources of information. Then you have your secondary sources, where you got it from somebody else, it's been collected already, and you get that from statistical reports, company annual reports, the AGM, annual general meeting, they have the reports, newspaper articles, social media, competitive analysis, cost quotations. So all of these are secondary. You have published population and income data to estimate market size, trade journals. All these are secondary sources of data. Your census and all those things are secondary sources of data. So you use both primary and secondary sources of data and information to compile in order to do your feasibility study, because it's not everything you can go out and acquire on your own, because you can't really go out and do a census on your own. So you take that data, you subtract where your market might be located, demographic data, that kind of stuff, and you can use it along with what you would have collected, the samples you would have collected, and that would help you to conduct your feasibility study. Alright, so that's just how that goes. Alright, so that's basically it for objective 10 and 11. We identify information. You have the primary, secondary sources of information for conducting research, and you have this. Why is it significant to conduct the feasibility study? And we said that it helps you to find out whether your idea is viable, if it can actually be pulled off. We said it helps to give you the possible costs attached to that project, and possible sources of finance. So you might have to go to the bank for X amount of loan, or you might have to ask family and friends. I can just use the savings based on what you would have obtained from the cost attached to the project. If it is significant, of course, you have to seek financing elsewhere, and you also have to have a collateral and a security to match that. So that's basically it for most of the ideas around the business plan itself. So we are going to look at planning next, and also we're going to look at objective 12, 13, 14, and 15 when we continue. Alright, so that's it for now. We're going to stay here for now. So of course, this is part 2 of establishing a business. We are going to do part 3 at a later date. So make sure you know what to do. You like, you subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when part 3 would have dropped. Alright, so that's it for now. Looking forward to bring you a next video at a later date. This is Learn SKN. Subscribe, share. Please share the videos, man. Share the videos on Facebook, share them on WhatsApp, share them on wherever. Get the word out there, help the channel to grow so we can have more diverse, communication in the comment section. We can go through different topics. We can spur up some discussions. So share. Let's build the community, build the channel. All right. Thanks for listening.